Guys, this is JD. Welcome to another game of Road to 1400. I'm 1352 after winning two games. Yesterday I did not play, and today is going to be the third match of the series. Uh, just as you know, just to recap, I have increased the time limit to 30 minutes, and um the opening is going to be Rui Lopez if I'm white, and Caro if it is going to be black. All right, so let's look for an opponent. All right, we are black. So if e4, we're going to play Caro, and I'm playing Flam Man with a rating of 1306 only if he starts the game. So in chess.com, if you're playing rapid games which is more than 10 minutes, and if you don't start the game within a minute, the game will auto abort, and it is auto aborted. All right, look for another opponent. All right, it got changed to white, and we're playing TK underscore boss from US, I guess. So let's start with e4 as planned. Let's see how the game goes. Oh, this game is also aborted. All right, looks like no one wants to play. Look for another opponent. I'd really like to be black so that I can practice the Caro. I'm still white. I'm playing lehurament with a rating of 1205. Let's start with e4. Do we have a game now? Yay, we have a game. So again, it's e4, e5. So as planned, let's go for Rui Lopez, knight to f3. And if knight to c6. All right, so it is actually knight to f6, but we'll still go ahead with bishop to b5, which is Rui Lopez. Actually, it's not Rui Lopez. Apologize, because for that knight needs to be in c6 square. So yeah, let's back off. There is no other move. I should have defended this, by the way. Anyways, we'll recover. I played a little bit faster. Let's go ahead and castle short. I know that f2 pawn is under attack, but let's defend it by the rook here. All right, attacking this pawn twice. What do we do? So this pawn is undefended, and this is kind of safe that if opponent is not defending his pawn, then you probably don't have to defend yours. Now that this is a threat, I think we should go ahead and do something about it. So let's defend this with this pawn. So most probably it's going to be pushed to d4, or black might take it, and after I capture, they're going to capture with the knight, and then I'm going to recapture here. Okay, this knight here, I don't know where it's trying to go because most of the squares are blocked here. Maybe it's trying to come to b6 and attack this bishop, so I just move my bishop to b3 square. The idea is if this goes off, I'm gonna capture the pawn at e5. This knight is also defending the pawn at e5. Black might opt to castle short here, just to bring the king to safety. Yes. Okay. So now let's try to calculate. So if pawn takes e4, pawn takes e4, knight takes e4, I lose a pawn here because I cannot go ahead and capture this because this is defended by this knight. So I'd like to eliminate this knight. I might have to sacrifice my dark square bishop here. I know my dark squares are a little weak, but the knight is kind of controlling a lot of dark squares. So let me just try to put it on g5. So I pin the queen here. Most probably it's going to be h6 just to throw this off, but in that case I'm going to capture this guy. So if this knight goes off, then this light square, which is d5, becomes a little bit weaker. So in that case, I'm going to take with my pawn, and if he takes, I'm going to take with my bishop. So that's the plan. So if h6, I'm going to take the f6 knight here with my bishop and sacrifice this, and most probably it will be captured by the knight, the queen. Just for the records, in the last game also I made a couple of blunders, trying to reduce them, by the way. If you remember in the last game, I had an opportunity to capture the queen, which I missed, and that was the blunder that was counted. There is one more possibility here. So if I capture, the capture might happen with the knight here itself, which is still fine because I'm going to capture this anyways. So looks like in any case I'm going to win a pawn. So if knight captures, I'm going to capture this. So this pawn is undefended right now. Before I capture, I just wanted to make sure, do I go ahead and capture this guy here? I think it makes sense, otherwise I lose. So the calculation is, now if I go ahead and capture this pawn, black is going to capture this pawn, and after I capture here, it's going to recapture with this. So let me just go ahead and take this pawn. So if the capture happens with this, there is a possibility this might come up, and in that case I'm going to capture. Alright, so now I think I can go ahead and capture this because this is undefended. E5 is undefended. But what's going to happen next? So the knight cannot move anywhere. Yeah, I think that's a free pawn. So let's go ahead because bishop might come to this place, g4 to attack the queen. But then I can capture with my knight here. So let's go ahead and do it. So I need to develop my uh, knight a little bit here to bring this guy to action. So I think based on the move that black makes, if there is nothing being attacked, I'm guessing queen to c7 might be a possibility, or rook to e8 to attack the knight. In that case, I'm going to push my pawn to d4 just to protect the square. I'm just trying to think a strategy to attack the king side. It can be, now that I have lost my dark square bishop. I know I lost it for a good cause, but my dark squares are really weak right now. If you can see, uh, I'm only guarding the white squares here. So the general rule is, if you if you're losing a bishop of a specific color, you should have your pawns to guard those. Now, there is a possibility that this pawn might be attacked by knight to g4, but that would be a blunder from black side because I'm going to capture and I have it defended with my queen. So a sensible move would be rook to e8 to attack this knight, or queen to c7 to attack this knight. But in both the cases, I'm going to push the pawn to d4. But one other thing is that if queen moves from this square to any other squares, this becomes a little bit weaker because it is only defended by the knight. So if somehow I am successful in eliminating this knight, then I win this pawn. So that is the idea. Only if a move is made. There is 30 minutes. Definitely, there are maximum opportunities to think about it. So I think my opponent is doing the right thing by thinking before he makes a move, he or she. All right, move comes. Yes, this is another way of defending, like attacking the knight. Uh, but I'm guessing in any cases, if I push this pawn to d4, I think that kind of defends the knight. But what I'm thinking is black is thinking of exchanging here, which I'm kind of good with. So let's push this pawn to defend this knight. So my next idea is to bring this other knight, which is on b1, to action, and I'm going to bring it to c3 to attack this pawn twice. Because right now, since the bishop moved to d6, it has blocked the protection from queen. So it's now just defended once. The light colored bishop of black is not developed yet, so one good move would probably be to, okay, rook e8. All right, so now there's an attack from two sides. So bishop is attacking my e5 knight and rook. So let's try to bring this rook into action. Before that, I just wanted to see if there are any other moves that I can make. What happens if I go ahead and take this? So if king takes, so if I capture with my knight, so king takes knight, then I capture this with my bishop, so knight take my bishops, then I go ahead and give a check. But the thing is, black has one move where bishop can come to e6 and protect it. All right, let's move this rook here just to give some support to our pawn, who is the lone warrior who is guarding this e5 knight right now. So if black decides to go ahead and take this knight, I think I win a pawn. I win this pawn, because if bishop takes knight, then pawn takes knight, and this knight will be under attack. So this knight has to move. So if this knight moves, then this will be guarded by only the queen. But I will have bishop and my queen attacking this d5 pawn. I'm just trying to think a sensible move from black right now. I think this pawn needs to be defended anyways right now. There's a possibility that this bishop might come to b4 and attack my rook, and then I'm going to move my rook to e2. Actually, I don't have to. I think I can move it back to f1. Okay, so the bishop comes out. I don't know what it is attacking. I think it's time I should bring out my knight at b1 into action, because this is not doing much. But before that, I just wanted to analyze what is black's plan here. So bishop to b4. So I see a next move, rook to c8, attacking this pawn twice, but then I have enough pieces guarding this c2. So I think I can bring my knight out. Just before that, I wanted to make sure I'm not missing anything, unlike the last game where I made a blunder where I could have won the queen. So this, I don't see a point for this knight to move. Yeah, so let me just go ahead and make this developing move of knight to c3. Now I'm attacking this pawn twice and it's guarded only once. So if an opportunity is given, I'm going to capture this with my knight. Okay, so he has pinned my knight now, so the knight cannot move. I need to defend this because I cannot just leave it here, because if bishop takes c3, then I have to take with my pawn. There's the only choice, and then I'll have two pawns lined up in the same file, and this is going to be a problem. So I can bring my queen to action here to d2, but in that case black has this move where knight can come to e4 and attack my knight as well as my queen. Then my queen has to move. I can come here. So if queen comes to f3, then I'm not guarding this anymore. This becomes undefended, but at this point I don't see any point of defending because I really don't see any attacks being happening here and this. But bringing the queen to f3 also means that I'm eyeing on this, and notice my bishop is already on this diagonal. So anytime this guy moves, I will have a mating chance here. So let me just move to, this looks like a good move, f3. But there might be a possibility that bishop might come to action here, attack my queen. So I cannot take the bishop. And if knight takes bishop, then bishop takes my rook. Okay, let's see. If queen to f3, bishop to e4, attacking my queen, then knight takes bishop, bishop takes rook. I can go and give a check here, winning this material. Then pawn takes, because queen cannot take it, I'll be guarding with the queen. So let's see what happens. I think this is a good move. So if bishop comes here, I'm going to sacrifice my rook. But what I'm thinking is I'll probably win a material. So if bishop comes, knight takes bishops, bishop take rook, knight takes knight, check, pawn takes, might not be a good decision though, but let's see. Anyways, the move is made. Maybe a blunder, but we'll see. I can anyways come to this position if needed. So yeah, I think the sacrifice of the rook will be a problem. But the bishop is under attack. The bishop has to move. So I'm 80% sure that the bishop might come to e4 and attack my queen. So I was thinking if knight takes bishop, knight takes bishop, bishop takes. Okay, this has been captured. All right. I don't think it's a very good move from black's perspective. I think that would have made me really think harder. The e4 move, attacking the queen. Now, do I come back here uh, and capture this with my queen, or do I capture with my pawn? I know I'll end up in a double pawn structure, but I think I should not take away this attack on this bishop. I think I don't mind capturing with this, given that there is no, the dark square bishop will be removed, so there is no chance of this two rooks being attacked twice. I think I'm going to do this. Let's see. And keeping my attack on this f5 bishop alive. I might try to set a trap, but I think the bishop needs to move here. I was thinking of making the rook come to e2 and inviting black to uh, double attack here, but uh, I think the bishop will move from here. The only square that it can go to is either this square or h7, and I think uh, the square e4 makes more sense because it will also attack my queen. So if bishop to e4, what I'm going to do at that time? Okay, it goes back. I really don't know why, because I was expecting an attack here. So I would really like to make this pawn move here, forcing this capture, but this pawn will be undefended that time. So I might bring my rook to d8. Before that, I'm just trying to think, is anything that I can look at. Okay, I'm going to bring this last piece into action, guarding this guy. So my next move, I'm going to make this pawn move. And if pawn captures, I'm going to capture with my bishop, making an attack to f7. My this pawn will be hanging. All right, that's a good move. So this prevents me making this move, because now if I make the pawn move and pawn captures, I cannot capture with my bishop because this is guarded by the rook here. I really wanted this knight to be eliminated from here if possible. Actually, I might force an exchange here. So if I take this pawn with my knight at this moment, so only king has to capture this. If this was not there, I could have given a check. But this knight is really making my life miserable here. I probably need to exchange this knight. So if I can attack the rook here a little bit, but is it effective? The rook might come to e7, and that's how it will be defended. Interesting. I let's try pushing this pawn, but I really don't see a point. If I double it here, does it make any sense? It doesn't. Do I go ahead and try to... Okay, let's make this waiting move. Let's see what's black plans are. This game is actually going for almost half an hour right now. We both have utilized our time properly. We moved to 14 minutes right now. Black has a lot of waiting moves. They can push these pawns right now to a5. I really need to break the pawn structure. I think queen to e2 would have been a better move here, so which I'm probably going to make. Yeah, this rook to c8 was actually a very good move, because this could have been deadly. Okay, I was expecting that. So as planned, I'm going to move my king here, queen to e2, preparing my pawn move as planned. So now I can again make this move unless the queen comes to c7. So if queen comes to c7, So this pawn is hanging right now. By the way, I actually missed that. So yeah, that's a miss from my end. It might be a blunder of where I lose a pawn. Okay, the knight moved. So I don't know where the knight is eyeing for. Maybe this fork. So I can take my queen in this place. Imagine knight cannot take the f2 point, and then I think it's going to be a problem. So, but I'm going to take with my king right now if it actually comes up. So I think this can happen still, but now this pawn is still hanging because if knight takes, I do not have any other way of defending this pawn. So anytime two major pieces are in like side by side in the same color square, then and the knight is nearby, it's going to be dangerous because there might be a double attack like this. So I think this is probably going to be very interesting. Uh, what if I attack this and take this? Apologies for the background noises. That's my daughter. So if knight takes f7 and then it attacks the queen, then this will probably be hanging. What I can do is I can just directly go here and try to attack the king. It's probably not a deadly attack in any case. So this is actually a good move from black, so just to attack this pawn. This pawn is under attack anyways. I cannot save this pawn. Alright, let me just make this move because my time is ticking. So if knight takes, I'll go here and take with check, and then probably move my rook to d3, and slowly the idea is to bring the rook to g file, attacking the king. If pawn to g6 right now, so if pawn to g6, I'm going to capture this pawn. Yeah. If bishop to g6, I'm going to take the bishop. So once pawn takes knight, then this file will be open. Then I can go ahead and capture. and kind of win this knight. So let's see what happens. So that is one of the plans that we have. There is a possibility that queen might move to c7 as well. If queen moves to c7, probably going to attack this rook. Does this help me? That's the question. I think it doesn't. So this is something that we probably have to take care of. So this is going to be a crucial move from black. I think queen to c7 is the best move. Okay, rook comes up, which is still kind of okay because it kind of saves the idea. I think I'm probably going to bring my rook here just to support. I think that probably I cannot save this pawn anymore. Probably as of now, at least I cannot think of at this moment given the time pressure. But so if knight takes c3, then I'm going to bring my rook to g3. That is the idea, and line up against this pawn. If bishop comes to g6, then I'm going to capture with my knight, forcing black to take my knight with the pawn. So so if knight captures, I think that plan is finalized. So if rook goes to g3, knight can move for a check, but the fact that I'm guarding the e2 square, I think that should be all right. And this square is guarded twice, once with the queen and one with the rook. So that is the idea right now. The move obviously depends. Oh, it takes with the rook, which is interesting. He takes with the rook, so I think I have to capture because the intention is clearly exchanging the rooks. So now when knight captures, so I just wanted to see this. So if knight takes pawn, uh, rook takes knight, this square is guarded, so I cannot do anything about it right now. I think I can just move this just to attack the knight. Let's see what happens. The only good square for knight to go is b5, which kind of attacks this pawn. So I think that's the only move, because other than that, if the knight goes to any other squares. Oh, there's one more move for e4. Okay, this is how it has been defended right now. Which is actually not bad. Definitely not bad. What I can probably do is probably try to bring this queen here, but then bishop might come into action. I think I will move the rook to g3, attacking this guy. So I think this I was the kingside attack that I was planning to launch with the rook and the queen. Okay, this is probably a blunder that he has missed, that this is guarded by my queen. So I can just go ahead and capture this maybe. So that's what I was talking about. Imagine my knight is actually kind of okay here. So it's left with 5 minutes here, and I'm left with 8. The time actually doesn't matter because we almost towards the end game here, trying to make changes for the attack. I'm planning to go back to my place, or should I? Then there is a possibility that bishop takes the pawn, which I'll probably be okay with. Because this pawn is hanging right now, this pawn is undefended, and the bishop is eyeing right to this specific pawn. Attacks the knight. I can go ahead and give a check here, but then yeah, I think that's a good move. I know I'll have undefended bishop, but that's probably okay. Let's see what we can do. So the king moves there. So now this knight is basically hanging. I can go here and give a check. Or I can sacrifice my knight and bishop for a rook, because I can go here and give a check. Then after after rook takes, bishop takes, then queen takes. I'll be ahead of my points, because I cannot give this check here to g6, because once bishop takes my knight, I cannot capture this. So on the course of time, I think this is a better move. So let's go ahead and do this. So once rook takes, I'm going to take with my bishop. Okay, he is not taking. So now I can come here and give a discovered attack here. Or any other discovery that I can make. If I go back here right now, discovering a check. I can possibly save my queen here, because I don't think there is any discovered attack that I can make. If I come here, king comes here. Yeah, I think this is probably a good move. Let's see what we can do. So I'm threatening a mate here. So I think now he is probably forced to take this. So this is probably going to be the end game that we were talking about. I think black has to take the knight and sacrifice the rook for the bishop and the knight. Alright, as expected. Do I have any other moves here other than this? Doesn't look like. So I captured this, a check. I think this goes here for a check, attacking this pawn. I think I can just go ahead and capture this. So this bishop might come to action right now. So I can just come here, give another check. The queen moves here, or the king actually can move that side. I think that's a better move if the king moves. That's definitely going to be a good move. Okay, so I think I'm going to capture this. So the queen needs to come out right now in any sense. So queen to e8 might be a good move. Yeah, attacking me here, which I'm probably okay with because I have this move. So I can just move it here, keeping my attack. So if queen comes to e8, I'm going to move to h2. I probably don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to move to h2 as planned. Just fine, so I think he missed that. This is a mate. All right, so a pretty long game, but we ended up winning. Um, I don't think I have made any blunders here. I was in some of the difficult situations, but yeah, I think this was a very long game, but we ended up winning. I'll let you know in the next game if I, after analyzing, if I actually kind of see if I have made any blunders. I can get back to this game. All right, thank you. Thank you for watching. It's a long game. I need to take a break. See you soon.